Are you demotivated as you make content? Well, I'm PenPen The Vtuber, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. We are going to be discussing a bit about how I keep motivated to keep making content and how hopefully any of this helps you out. So that's what today's podcast is about. Let's begin. So I'm PenPen The Vtuber. I've been making content on Twitch for nearly 2 years now. So we are about to hit 2 years in January, and honestly, I was asking around because I've been a bit demotivated. I've been working on different projects and my motivation's been here, there, and everywhere. And it's alright to have those moments. And it's going to be a bit of a ramble. This is what the podcast is. It's very much a ramble. And try and get to pick into my mind how my mind works and sharing that with everyone. And for this one, we talk about motivation. And I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit demotivated. I didn't really feel motivated to do the podcast today, but now I'm getting started. I'm feeling a bit better about it now. Now I've got an idea. I want to talk about it, and it's a good, interesting topic that I'm passionate about. But how do you keep motivated to do the same thing for 2 years? It's very difficult. It's hard. And the big thing I find, truthfully, is having targets. No, not having targets to meet, but having deadlines, I think, has been my biggest thing. So when I started streaming, I actually was depressed. I actually was away from work. I was off sick because of depression, and I just couldn't handle everything. And going day to day, I think my biggest win was actually having having something to do, and having something that I put out a schedule and I kept to it biblically. And that's been like my biggest thing. And I've got evidence of it to this day, actually. So I think the last time I was late was 5 minutes late on my collaboration. So I was collaborating with a great VTuber, Alice is Alive, and we were 5 minutes late, and that's the only time I've been late. The rest of the time it's been bang on schedule, boom, 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 boom. And if you've been following the podcast, you would have seen that you could probably see where my motivation comes in and out, because we went through a dry period where I want to do a podcast, we go to amazing episodes, we get some, do this really well, and then we stop. And that's kind of where we was for a while. It's only till about 3-4 episodes ago where I was like, right, we need to do the podcast again. We need to get this out again. And already 2 episodes in, I'm like, oh, damn. Bugger, I need to sort out that. My motivation, heart's been in another project, and that's been the new YouTube channel, making new videos and trying to do videos just for funsies, just kind of like keeping it fun, keep it real. I don't have any plans for it, just kind of like I want to try out some things, learn some new things. And I think that's helped me be motivated, is learning new things, keep trying new things. I think many of you would have seen that I keep changing my model, and it's because I make so many VTuber models. So I make so many VTuber models, and it keeps it new and fresh, even for myself. And I think that's kind of like the biggest thing, is having something new and fresh each time to keep you like, oh my god, I can't wait to show this off. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to show this off. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So it's having stuff like that which really helps me. Because I like to, every time I stream, I like to try and have something new, learn something. And it's the same with my videos now. And with the podcast, it was very difficult because, one, it's difficult talking to yourself for nearly an hour. This one might be a little bit shorter because it is very difficult, and I've still got the sniffles. People thought I was ill. I am not ill. I've got the sniffles. I just can't deal with this goddamn cold weather at the moment. I hate it. I can't deal with it. And then I come home and the heating's on massively and I'm warm, and it's just my body's not dealing with it well. So that's that. Where's I going with this? Motivation. That's it. So with the podcast, I struggle not having anyone to talk to record these, and I try to keep it unscripted because I'd rather keep it as real as possible, so you get raw and we can have a situation where we don't know where the podcast's heading. We could just talk about anything, and we've seen that I've gone off the rails numerous times, but that could be difficult. It could be so difficult to do that. And how did I get the motivation to do today? Well, I quickly asked some people, was like, hey, what should we do? What should we do as an episode? And they said, oh, how do you get motivated? Boom, we're talking about that. And that's where this episode's been. It's about like we talk about motivation because of just my goodness me, we've got the deadline. This has to be out on a Wednesday. We are filming on Sunday. I can't film Monday. I can't film Tuesday. We're streaming. I've got work and we can't do it. And it's a shame because I'd love to be able to put more, have that spare time to chill, do some research. But no, we haven't got that. We are literally. But a big thing I found, motivation. So we've talked a bit about having something new, having something fresh each time we go on. Those help massively. Having deadlines, and for YouTube, I don't know what I'm doing with the scheduling for that. I don't know yet. I'm just kind of buzzing around, experimenting. I'm making videos in preparation, trying to see what works. For the podcast, I want to do it on Wednesdays. I want to be posting around 12 o'clock, and then it's out there, and we know it's out there, and we know we're going to enjoy it. And then I have to post it around. I have to get onto Spotify, Amazon Music. There's a lot of work. There's so much work that goes into all this, and coming to streaming into anything like this, into being a VTuber, I really didn't realize how much work there was, and that's usually where my motivation burns out. I find like when you get these moments where you go into something passionate. I've done it in so many fields. I go in blind as a bat and go, I think this looks cool. I want to do it, and I do it. And what happens after that is I'm in that momentum. Like, well, what should I, this is a lot of work. I'm trying my hardest, and I'm trying hard to keep it. So it's just battling it out. You'll have the good days, and you have the bad days. And there is a TikTok that I love, and it's someone keeps sending it to me, and it's hilarious. It's, I do it anyway.
Do that. I do it anyway. I do it sad. I do it mad. I do it glad. I do it stressed. I do it depressed. I do it obsessed. Even when I'm afraid, I'll be brave. I do it anyway. 'Cause that's what it takes to win this game.
If I remember, I'll edit when I'm doing the editing in this. I'll post it and pop it up on screen around this sort of time because it's funny. Because they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I do it sad. I do it mad. I do it glad. I'll do it anyway, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So, trying to not let the excuse, not let things stop you doing it is a big thing. So, I could have said like, Pen, you haven't got the time. You got stuff to do, and I'm like, well. I can fit an hour in. I fit an hour in. If we make your podcast shorter, we make your podcast shorter. If you haven't got a reason, you haven't. I've got excuses. I could have made a million excuses why I didn't do the podcast and we delayed it for a week, and that'd be fine. That'd be fine. I don't think anyone would be too upset. I think I would be like, that's a shame, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it, and I'd feel bad if I didn't do it. And the deadline's Wednesday. The deadline's Wednesday. You gotta get it done. So it's not being harsh with myself, because what are the consequences? If I don't do it, if I don't post it, that's on me. I get disappointed in myself, and I think people think I'm very harsh on myself because I am. I am very, very harsh on myself, and it can be difficult. And it's just finding that way of making sure you're not too hard on yourself, but you're also available to go, okay, let's try a bit of this, let's try a bit of that. It's a hard one, but it's rewarded at the same time. So, because now I've been harsh on myself and said, Pet, you need my Wednesday, you need to do this podcast. I feel really good. I actually feel really good that I'm doing it. Like, I think the hardest thing when you're doing stuff, anything like this, is getting started. I think getting started is a hard spot. Like, once you hit that go live, the record button or anything like that, everything just comes a bit more natural. It could be like pre-nerves, I know I was thinking like it with so many things. I'm still like it with streaming. I say it's because you care, and I think that's the big thing, is because you care, you want it done right. And I totally understand that, 100%. I do totally get that. But I find sometimes you can't be like that. I found when I've had projects where I've tried my best to keep constantly on it, boom, 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 and try and make it perfect before I post it. One, I'm more disappointed when the results aren't there. which is a shame. I've got to make sure I'm not results orientated. And secondly, I end up not posting it because I keep chasing it and trying to fix this, trying to fix that. And so if you ever wonder why my content feels maybe a little rushed, it's because I'm literally just going out there, getting it done. Because priority for me is getting the message across. I feel like that's where I am with me at the moment. Like today, is I wanted to make sure we got out this video. It won't be perfect. It won't be amazing, but it will have the message, and the message of being like, keep at it. And that's the message today, is just keeping at it, because it can be so easy to lose motivation, lose faith, and just feel demotivated when it comes to anything like this. And when you get out to do it, just keep at it. Just keep doing it. And do it for the fun of it. Like, it sounds strange, but I find it fun to talk about these sort of things. I find it very therapeutic in a way. I want to talk to people about these sort of things. I want to be able to talk to people a bit more about these sort of things, voice to voice, rather than just messaging. But this kind of helps myself out. It gets me, get some thoughts out my brain, out there into the world, and I can learn. I can learn from people. Like, people can come up to me and message me or comment and say, "Hey, Ben, you suck." This is how I keep motivated. And I go, "Oh, that's an interesting idea. I didn't think about being that way." And it's a learning thing. I feel like I learn about myself doing the podcast. I feel like I learn from everything. And that's kind of cool. That's just really, really cool to be able to keep learning. Coming to streaming videos, VTubing, I didn't realise how much it'd be to learn. I know a lot of people have said, like, hey, you just hit live and play games, and what's so hard about it? Nah, mate. It's so much work. But no one tells you about it. Well, I didn't listen anyway. I think people warn me, but I don't listen. I think it's sometimes the best way is learning on the job. I feel like I've learned a lot just by keeping at it. Just keep posting, keep working these things out. There's a problem, we go fix it. We just learn how do we fix it and keep going. And it's so easy. Especially, like, I know people have gone and beat on my ass about it, but I remember doing like 10-hour shifts at work. I'd get home, 2 hours traveling each way, trains to cancel, blah 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 blah, and I go like, oh my goodness me, I am knackered. But going out there and having the best stream and having a good stream where people are like, oh my god, I'm so glad you're here, is rewarding. And that's another thing that motivates me, is the positive messages and the people I've met. I think that's one thing we don't celebrate enough. It's a community side of all this. Like, I know, I'm trying to think of the wording of how to say some of these things. So if I do pause for a second, it might of A, having a cup of tea, or B, thinking what to say. But I'd be able to meet some wonderful people in the VTuber space. I'll be able to chat to so many people. And sometimes being told you're doing a good job is very, very healing. And I think if you ever get a chance to say that to anyone, like, hey, I love what you're doing, keep it up. I love what you're doing. You're doing some amazing stuff. Keep it up. That can mean the world. And I've had it as a webcomic artist. People, I know I hated my art. I was not a big fan of my art. I know my art is a style, and I kept at it. I kept making the comics. And to hear people say, like, hey, Pen, I really liked your comics. I really liked them. They were really good. And, you really put your heart and soul into it. And that's rewarding. So not only was I, in my mind, my brain said to me, Pen, you are not good at writing stories. Okay. You know what? It's the first time doing these things. I'm learning on the job. I totally agree with that. Thank you, Brain. You're a terrible artist. Well, yeah, kind of. I know it's a style, and I think if you ever go to my Twitch, you see the emotes. I do need to post more art. I want to. I did do it a little bit on what's now X. I need to do it on Blue Sky. I need to post all those. I need to start getting back into doing art again. It's been a while. But like, the biggest thing that helped me validate was I had Merryweather down at VTuber Expo. They pointed at my artwork and they went, "Oh my god, you've done really well with this. It looks really good." Boom. Now it's evidence. It's evidence in my brain that, you know what, you're actually good at drawing, Pen. You've had the person you look up to in art go, "They're doing a good job. Well done to you. Pat on the back, mate." You can't argue that. You can't argue that. That's the thing. And I know I probably could. I could probably argue away. But sometimes it's just learning to turn off your brain and say, like, no. You're wrong, brain. They've said I'm good. Shut up. And it does take some mental training, to do that. It's not easy. It's not easy to kind of shrug off, a lot of the insecurities about the stuff that you do. But, this is where I do need, like I say, I want to do a lot of projects where I'll be writing, doing art again, for some stuff I want to do. I know someone mentioned about how they think like, "Hey, Pen, how do you get up so many ideas? How are you so good at that? You seem to be amazing at that." And I'm like, it's been training. The idea thing comes from the theory that ideas only pass through you. And it sounds weird. It sounds like I'm absolutely losing the plot. But in some ways, I'm not. Like, by just acting on your ideas as quick as you can, as well as you can, or setting the time to go and do them, and planning out, like, I want to do that idea then, helps. Helps with motivation as well. So give me a second to have a sip of my tea. Sorry for the dead space then. But I find that's been like a big motivating thing. So when I got the idea of a little book I'm going to be writing, I was listening to an audiobook and I got out of the car and I was like, I should write the book. I should write this book. That's popped in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, we did it! And I did actually end up writing it. I've taken a week off. I need to get back into it. And because I acted on it quickly, I started typing bits as soon as I got home. This was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I got home and I started typing some stuff just to get out there, just to get the ball rolling. It helped massively. I found for myself, when I'm sitting there and I'm sitting on the idea, it can really slow me down. It can really, really slow me down and stop me from enjoying it. It stops me from getting the idea out there. And this is where it comes back to what we spoke about last time. It's just creating. Like, sometimes it is just about getting your ideas out there, getting what you feel is you're passionate about, and getting it out there to the world. Going, "Pen, I'm gonna do it. I've got to make these videos." And to be fair, that's what I've been learning from doing like YouTube. Like, sometimes it's just about getting out there. And you know what? I could say like the results. How could it? I'm not going to say results matter. But when you get some nice results and you go, "Oh, that got viewed more times. Oh, someone likes this." Oh, it is rewarding. And it's about celebrating those victories. I know that keeps me motivated. And I think that's another thing that people need to do, where, to stay motivated, is look back at some of their victories, look at some of their wins. It can be very easy to be caught in the now and caught in the negatives of now, or be, "Oh my god, the future's coming, it looks dark and depressing." And it is so easy to do that. I say it's so easy because I do it all the time. And I am not proud I do it all the time. But it is worth doing. It is worth fighting and just tricking them out, It can be so... it can be so difficult, that. The results can be a double-edged sword. You can use them to feel bad about yourself and compare. And comparing is bad. But I find the biggest motivation is when something goes better than you expected. When you see a nice little surprise and number up, helps. But, don't kneel on that. I'm teaching myself not to compare half as much and just have fun. I feel like having fun, going out there and just enjoying the process of what you're doing and just looking back and being proud. Because do you know how proud I am that not only have I got, I still think I'm the last time I checked, I was the only VTuber with a joke book. It's stupid, but I'm proud of it because I put a lot of effort into that joke book. I'm one of the only few. I don't think there's many with the comics. That's pretty cool. I've got a podcast. How cool is that? And what I'm doing is shouting into the microphone, and I worked out to put it on Spotify, and I worked out to put it on Amazon Music. Like, cool. I don't make own VTuber models, and look how pretty my model is. Sorry if you're this is just a Spotify or Amazon Music. I look very beautiful. You should picture the most beautiful VTuber in the world and dub it, and that's what I look like. That's where I'm at. Oh, okay, Pen, ego, mate, ego. Calm your ego. Come on, mate. But this goes on. The fact I'm going out there and doing cool stuff matters, and I think that's trying to learn to take that time to do that is one thing that helps me motivate myself. So those are kind of like my ways to tackle on the motivation crisis, especially in winter. Oh my goodness, we need to drop the mic. I don't know if anyone else is having that like this. Like, because I stay up late and I wake up late, and I'm not seeing the sun at the moment. Like, I'm looking outside now, and it is actually really, really dark. It is so dark out there, and it's depressing, and it's cold, and then, there's so many things that could keep me down, and it's so easy to let those things beat me. And I think I said it to someone down at MCM, someone I admire very much so. Life is like a trampoline. When it's down, except it's going down. Because, it'll go down, but then wait for that bounce back. Wait for you when you hit the trampoline. Because when you hit the trampoline, you got to have your knees pressed, and you got to be able to jump back up and do a star jump. Basically. Do the star jump to show the world, I'm not letting you keep me down. Look how bouncy it is. Look how I am. That's how I view it anyway. Like, that's just how I view things. It's just how my mind works. I think the podcast has been very much turned into me talking rubbish and talking about what's inside my head. So it gives you a bit of an insight about me as a person, as a creator. Especially, like I say, I mentioned about me being very depressed, and it is something I still fight with this day. I'm not always joyous, not always happy, and it's very hard sometimes to keep that motivation, to keep that positive spirit. Especially, when you get those bad days, it can hold you back. It is about fighting those. It's about trying to find the reason to fight those. And my reason sometimes is, well, you got a schedule. You're streaming Monday. You're gonna kick your butt, and you're going to get that sorted. You're gonna sort out that vote. You're gonna sort out that schedule. You're gonna sort this out. And once I start doing it, I feel better for doing it. Because I think one thing that helped, that has not helped, one thing that does not help is the doom scrolling. Okay, I do scroll. We all do scroll. I am not going to absolutely diss anyone for doing it. We all do it. I am needful for it, and I trying to stop doing that. And it's a hard one. It's so hard to not doom scroll because it is a heck. But I could find a million distractions. I could find a distraction now that would stop to be doing this podcast and getting this message out. But I did it. I'm out here. I'm doing it. We're chatting. Yes, it may not be the longest podcast. It may not be the hour that I want to do. It may only be 25 minutes long. It's actually 23 at the moment, but I'm trying to waffle on to try and get us to 25. But legit, I feel so much better for doing this. I feel so much better. I do hope someone gets something out of, my motivational speech of motivating, because motivation speech, you should say hit and miss. They don't always work. You're not saying to people inspired. Taking action inspires. I think if you can inspire yourself to go do something awesome, and if you're feeling a bit down, but you still go out there and do something awesome, celebrate it. Buy a cake. Get a big cake. Get a big cake with giant candles on. Make a fuss. Because in my brain and in my heart, I make a huge fuss of, boom! Guess who did the podcast today? Yeah! What do you do on your weekend, Pen? Oh, I didn't do anything. It was a storm. It was cold. It was winter. I'm depressed. But I did this cool podcast where I spoke about motivation as a content creator. And it sounds small. It sounds so small. But sometimes the small things are big victories, and you need to understand that. I think that's one thing I need to do more of is those small wins matter so much more than we realise. The fact, if anyone does YouTube and you're getting a video out there, give yourself a pat on the back, because it isn't easy. And it can be so hard to hit record. It can be so hard to think of titles. It can be so hard to even hit the upload button. When you're streaming, it can be so hard to hit go live. And if you're a VTuber, think how hard it is to run all the software we run. Like, this is a pain in the butt. Like, the amount of sources that I have to use, and I wish I turned my phone off this vibrating like a nutter. But, for how hard it is to make sure we don't have tech issues. When you don't have tech issues, and when these things are running right, celebrate that. It is worth doing. And I do hope you all out there find some motivation or inspiration from this. Just go out there, make cool stuff. Set yourself deadlines sometimes if it helps. Find what works for you to keep you motivated so you keep creating awesome stuff.
I made a footage to remind you that I do it, turn you on. I do it soft, I do it mad, I do it down, turn you on. I do it stressed, I do it depressed, I do it obsessed, turn you on. Even when I'm afraid, I'll be